things before we start. That's fine. Okay, great. Super. Jess! Hello! Hi! So it's been a while since the Sunday Cook has even posted. You might have seen on my Instagram account, I've been posting a couple things here and there, but for quite a while I've kind of left it to one side. Things were very busy at work, and now I find myself with a whole lot of spare time for at least the next couple of weeks. Unfortunately, it's not because I want to, but it's because of COVID-19, and I'm sure so many of you out there are in the same boat as me. So I wanted to do something that was going to be useful to some of you. Hopefully all of you are on this live with me because you want to see some cooking, so hopefully that is what we're going to be doing today. And yeah, so stay tuned. I'll post this video onto my YouTube channel. If you're not following yet, make sure that you subscribe and hit the follow button so you can be notified of the notification bell, you know, the one, so that you can be notified of any future videos that I might do. Who else is in here? It's so funny, because, yeah, oh, fantastic. I think one of the great things about technology these days is, I'm sure some of you have already started reconnecting or connecting with your loved ones and your friends and families using technology, and I think it's brilliant. So this is a really good way to keep each other supported throughout this difficult time. So we did our grocery shopping, like most people, and the other day we bought some bananas, and over the last couple of days, actually 2 days, my bananas have turned into this, all spotty and brown, and I'm sure this happens to a lot of you, but these bananas are still good. They're still edible, and today's recipe is going to be a banana nut loaf recipe. So we're gonna move the camera down here so you can see everything, but I'm going to show you the ingredients first. So what you'll need is a big bowl, a big mixing bowl, a wooden spoon, got that. You'll need some flour, and I've got exactly 150, I'm going to be measuring out 140 grams of self-raising flour. I've got some almonds here that are going to go inside the loaf. And I just wanted to pimp it up a bit and make it a little bit more interesting. So I've also got some dried cranberries, and it'll give a little bit of sharpness and sweetness to the finished product. I've got 140 grams of plain unsalted butter. I've got a little bit of butter to butter my tin. And then I've also got 140 grams of granulated brown sugar. Well, it's actually Demamerra sugar. The recipe actually calls for white sugar, but I don't have white sugar because we don't really have sugar at home. And then I've got, whoa, my eggs are gonna fall over. And then I've got a teaspoon of baking powder and 2 large organic eggs. Okay, so let's begin. I'm gonna move you. So, woo. Okay. So usually when I do videos, I tend to shoot them and then edit them. So this is new for me. So I'm just going to position my camera downward so you can see what we're doing from down here. Can you all see? Unfortunately, hi Mel! Unfortunately, I can't see the comments because my phone is face down. And that's my husband who wants the kettle to be switched on because, yes, I have people in the show. So I'm gonna make some more room here so you can see. Alright. I'm Okay. So in my mixing bowl, the first thing I'm going to do is I've actually preheated... Okay, this is far too noisy. Sorry. I've preheated my oven to 160 degrees Celsius, or gas 4, and I've been preheating for about an hour, for about half an hour so far. So the recipe usually calls for a loaf tin, but I don't have a loaf tin because I don't really bake. I hardly ever bake. So I'm using these ceramic tart tins, and I think that'll work. What I do need to do before I do anything is I need to butter my tin. Okay, so I've got a little bit of butter here. And I'm just going to be using some paper towel to get into the edge. Basically, it's to prevent it from sticking. Okay. So I'm just going to go all the way around in the middle. Also, don't forget the edge, the rim of the dish. Okay. Another trick that I find is very useful is to put a little bit of flour . Okay, like that, and just shake it about, get it into the groove, and then into the edge. Like so. So you can see I'm basically I'm covering everything with flour. Okay, put that there. And I'm making a mess. Great. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cream my butter. So again, and I'll put all the ingredients, the ingredient list, and the measurements in the final edited version. So my butter is at room temperature, so I'm just going to beat it a little bit and soften it a little bit. So have you guys been baking a bit since if you've been at home wondering what to do? Okay, I think my butter's still a little bit too cold. That's alright. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add the sugar. I'm going to do that first. That's actually going to help soften. It always fascinates me. You know, when you watch TV programs at home, cooking channels, and they always, because obviously it's edited and it's not in front of it's not always in front of a live audience, and so a lot of the different stages are already made, are already prepared in advance, and a lot of them will then have, they'll have this already made, and the sugar and the butter already softened and combined, and then they'll bring out a finished product. So unfortunately for here, you won't be able to see the finished product because there isn't one. We're actually making this from start, and I'll post the finished loaf when it's done. Okay, so I'm just getting my sugar and my butter softened a little bit more, and then what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to move to a whisk to get it all fluffy, but my butter's just a little bit hard still. I think this is also a really good opportunity if you're going to be making some loaves of bread, or if you're going to be baking and you live in a neighborhood. Maybe you've got elderly neighbors next to you. So we have an elderly neighbor next to us, and I'm hoping that this recipe is going to yield 2 loaves, so I can give my neighbor a loaf, because she's quite old and I don't know if she's able to get out much. And I'm sure she'd appreciate something homemade. Okay, so you see it's all starting to combine and it's starting to soften. I'm not sure if I will really need to move to my whisk, or maybe I will when I add the eggs. Okay, and actually using Demamerra sugar will give a little bit of a caramelized flavor to it, which is nice. Okay. So, if you're a baker, if you enjoy baking, what are some of your favorite recipes to bake? Oh, and can I just tell you, this is the first time I'm baking this. So I'm a little bit like discovering as I go, and clearly a whisk is not the best idea. Oh my goodness. This is going to be edited out, people. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so everything is creamed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 egg at a time. So here's one. And I like to use eggs that are have that really rich yellow yolk. I think it just makes such a difference to things like that, or even just when you're eating eggs, you know, for breakfast. Okay. So this is where you can start using a little bit more elbow grease and incorporating everything. These are getting stuck. Actually, I'm going to forget the whisk. I'm going to add my second egg. So this getting is so much easier to incorporate everything, which is good. Oh, sorry, Vigneron du Royal. I can't see your comments because my phone is facing down, but I'm making a banana loaf. That is what I'm making, a banana loaf. Okay, so I'm going to keep mixing until, actually, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to swap to a food mixer. Because I think that's why didn't I think of that a lot sooner? So this is going to incorporate some air. It'll turn everything nice and fluffy. if you remember what it looked like before, now it's getting paler and it's getting more homogeneous. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm going to keep beating this with my electric until it gets a lot paler than this. So while I'm doing this, do any of you have any questions? Okay, I think this is perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. I think it's also really, you can't waste anything. It's very important not to waste anything. Marie, hello! Nice to see you! I'm making a banana loaf, if you're interested. So for those of you who are just joining the show, I'm making a banana loaf. I had some bananas that have started to turn brown, and I was just saying to everyone that when they turn brown, don't discard them, don't throw them out, because actually they're perfect for desserts, for turning into other things. I mean, I'm making a banana loaf, but you could use them to make a smoothie. I made a smoothie this morning for breakfast. Okay. There you go. So now you can see that the butter, the sugar, is well incorporated, and it's nice and smooth and a little bit paler than when it first started. So just to recap, there's 140 grams of softened butter, there's 140 grams of brown Demamerra sugar, 2 large eggs that have been beaten, and now I'm going to add what am I adding? Oh, I'm going to add some flour. So, the first thing I need to do is measure out my flour. So I'm looking for 140 grams of it. I love this. I have a scale, but this is so much easier because it has all the measurements on the side, and my scale is on a shelf that I can't reach, so you know, this is so much easier. So I'm looking for 140 grams. And no, I need a bit more. Yep, I've got exactly 140 grams. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to mix a little bit of this. I'm not going to put it all in at the same time. I am going to use my whisk though. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold the rest. So folding, not beating, but folding. If you end up beating a little bit too rigorously, what you'll end up doing is activating the gluten, which will then cause the whole loaf to become too dense. So what you want to do is you want to fold. So that's just very softly turning it onto itself. So I'm gradually adding my flour. And I think I'm going to move to a spoon actually, because it'll be easier. So for those of you who are just joining, I am making a banana loaf with some bananas that started to turn a little bit too brown to eat, but perfectly good for baking, for making desserts. Okay, I'm making such a mess. See, I don't want to waste anything. I don't like wasting food. Okay, I think that's... And I'm trying not to splatter stuff on my phone. Okay, so... So I'm gently folding the rest of the flour. I can add all of it now. Okay, the next ingredients will be the bananas. So what I'm going to do is once I finish incorporating the dry ingredients, I'm going to, which is now, I'm going to take my bananas, and I've got, whoops, I need 2 large ripe bananas. Oh, actually I don't need a knife. And I am going to mash them with a fork. So, I mean, the exteriors were, you know, bruised and a little bit brown, but actually, to be honest, I think I could have allowed my bananas to ripen a little bit more. They seem perfectly fine to eat on their own, so. Okay, so I'm gonna mash my bananas. Yeah, I would have liked my bananas to be a little bit riper. But anyways, you get the whole gist of it. Okay? So, you're gonna mash them. I'm curious, what have you guys been doing to keep yourselves occupied if you've been locked in? Are you all able to work still? Or are you... Right. Are some of you volunteering? Let me see if I can see the comments. I made one already last week. Ah, you did! So I have a little confession, and I mentioned it earlier, but this is the first time I'm making this. So... For those of you who know me, I'm not a big baker. I don't bake, usually. I don't have the patience for baking. That's the other thing. I really don't have the patience for baking. I don't know why I needed the knife. I didn't need the knife. But here we go. Okay, so I've got my banana. In here, I've folded some 140 grams of self-raising flour. Earlier I had mixed... and some softened butter, as well as some brown Demamerra sugar, and now I'm going to add my banana. And you're probably thinking, before you add your banana, you're probably thinking that your mixture is getting a little bit too dry, but the banana has a lot of moisture, so it'll be fine. That is why banana loaves are always really moist. So you see, everything is coming together nicely. Really nicely. I'm really pleased with this. And it smells so nice. So the sort of consistency that you're looking for is a really thick batter, kind of dropping consistency. Okay. So I've got a couple other ingredients for those of you who haven't seen this. I have a couple other things that I wanted to add. And this includes, I've got some dried cranberries. These are things I just had in my store cupboard. And some almonds. I think what I'm going to do first with the almonds though is I am going to toast them a little bit. I'm going to crush them first. So I'm going to leave this to one side, make a little bit of room. I don't need this anymore. And I'm just going to toast my... I'm going to toast my, what am I toasting? These things. I'm going to toast my, my almonds. Oh, do you know what else I forgot to put in? Sorry, I forgot to put in my baking soda. Very essential. Let me put that in now. So, baking soda is going in, there you go, in. That could have been disastrous. And I'm folding it in, getting everything nicely incorporated. Yes, you do need the baking powder, because otherwise, if there's not enough self-raising or raising agent in the self-raising flour, then you'll just end up with a flat, well, a very flat cake, I suppose. Right. So something else that's really good in baking is to add a pinch of salt. Salt actually brings out a lot of the flavors that you get. So I've got some sea salt that I've crushed earlier. I'm just going to sprinkle that in. And you don't need a lot. You don't need a lot at all. So before I add my almonds into the pan, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to crush them in my mortar and pestle. Just a rough crush. Nothing too crazy. I just want to break them up so you get some nice little chunks. And you know, with this recipe you can actually add other things. Like I'm only adding these two ingredients into my batter simply because these are ingredients I have in my kitchen. But you can add chocolate chips. You could add maybe some walnuts. Some people like to put walnuts. Pecan nuts are really good. I'm not looking to crush them finely. I'm just trying to break them into little chunks. Oops, I think somebody's trying to call me. Not ideal when you're live. Okay, so some of them will be whole, but some of them, you know. And I don't, some people would be really pedantic and want to, you know, get the skins of the almonds, get the skin off, but you know what? I don't think so. I don't have time. Okay. And it's okay if there's some that are whole, you know? Okay. Oops. One that got away. So if you're new, and this is going to be posted on my channel, but on my YouTube channel, but if you're new to it, make sure you click follow and subscribe. And if there are any future videos that you want me to make, you can always put them. You can always comment in my Instagram account, or in the comment box below that you'll see. Okay. Fantastic. So, right, my pan's really hot and I can't get too distracted. So I'm tossing my almonds, but I don't want to burn them. As you can see, I put them in a dry pan. So now that they're toasted and you can smell, I wish this had smell-o-vision, but you can smell, it smells absolutely gorgeous. So I'm gonna toss this in the pan, in the bowl. And I'm now mixing everything in. And I'm gonna add my my cranberries. Yeah, super easy, this recipe, super easy. Right, so that's all incorporated. I'm gonna give this a little bit of a wipe down. Okay. And so now I've got my tart tin. So yes, you should actually be using a loaf tin, but I don't have a loaf tin because I never bake. So I'm using this ceramic tart tin. And the way that I prevent things from sticking is I've buttered it, but then I've also added half a teaspoon or a teaspoon of flour, doesn't matter what sort of flour, and then I've basically covered the entire surface area, not to forget the rim as well, with the butter and the flour. And this should help prevent sticking. Okay, right. Now it's time to transfer everything. So this is my batter. So just to recap, you've got 140 grams of softened butter, 140 grams of Demamerra sugar, 2 large eggs, 140 grams of self-raising flour, a teaspoon of baking powder, which I almost forgot to put in, 2 very ripe bananas that I've mashed, and a handful, and what I've added is a handful of dried cranberries, as well as some toasted almonds. You can replace the almonds completely with anything from pecan, anything that you really enjoy. So, I'm just going to add my batter. Okay, I'm going to have to make another one because there's not enough for 2. I love the texture. It's just so velvety and it smells really delicious. Okay. Oops. I have a spatula somewhere, but I can't find it right now. But okay, so then what you want to do is spread it out. And that is what it looks like before it goes for a tan in my oven. And my oven's been preheated to 180 degrees Celsius, and I brought it down to 160 degrees Celsius after half an hour. So now I'm gonna put it on a tray into my oven. It's best to put it in the middle shelf. And I'm gonna allow it to cook for about, I would say 30 minutes to 40 minutes. Well, I can move this up now. Hi! So I'm going to, hello! Oh, I see some more people. I'm going to bake this in the oven for half an hour to 40 minutes. What I'm gonna do is, before I bring it out completely, I'm gonna use my skewer. This is a long skewer. I'm going to use a skewer to check that it's cooked all the way through, and the way to do that is you poke it right in the center, and if it comes out all clean, then that means it's cooked. If it comes out with batter, then it means that it's not cooked, and it needs a little bit longer in the oven. Alright, so thank you so much for all of you who've joined. The finished product will be posted onto my Instagram account, The Sunday Cook, and I'll also edit the video so that you can see the finished product too. And thank you so much for joining, those of you who did. And yeah, see you soon. Bye guys. Right guys, so my banana loaf has just come out of the oven. I'm gonna let it rest for a good 10 minutes, but I want to check that it is cooked all the way through. So I've got my skewer, and let's see. Perfect. So as you can see, it's come out clean, entirely clean. So now it just to rest for a bit, for a good 10 minutes, and that'll also make it a lot easier to take out of the ceramic dish. Ooh, hot. Alright. I hope that was really useful for you. Now you know, don't throw these away, turn them into something like this. I really enjoyed making it for you. I can't wait to cut a slice, but this is my banana nut loaf, and it's got some cranberries and honey glaze and some almonds. Perfect for breakfast. I think it's more of a, it's a loaf, but it's a cake. It's like a loaf cake. It's like a cake loaf. What do you think? It's been a lot of fun, and I hope to see you again very soon. There's going to be some more videos coming up over the next couple weeks. Now that I have some more time, I'm going to make it a point to create some delicious meals that are easy for you and the family, easy to make, nutritious and really wholesome, and of course homemade. I think this is the time where most of us are staying at home. It's a really good opportunity to learn and to diversify your cooking repertoire, your recipe repertoire in your own kitchen. If there are certain recipes, or if you had any food questions or cooking questions that you wanted to ask me, feel free to leave a comment or send me a message on Instagram. My Instagram account is The Sunday Cook, so if you type Sunday Cook, you'll find it. And yeah, there'll be some more recipes and more videos to come. But for now, farewell and enjoy your day. Just have a good day. Have a great day. Well, that was so much fun to make for you. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the end product, my banana nut loaf. Sorry, it's that cat calendar in the background that's so distracting. But here's my banana here's my banana loaf. Here's my banana. Thank you so much for joining. I hope it was fun and it was... Sorry. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that was useful for you. So now you know, here's the one recipe. Oh, okay. Oh, we're filming. Right. Sorry. It's been super fun having you in my kitchen this afternoon, and I hope to see you again all very soon. All very soon? It's been super fun having you in my kitchen this afternoon, and I can't wait to see you again if you